Hello, everyone. Welcome to Dollars and Cents, Why Make Your Own Lingerie with Sue. Sue is the owner of Bra Builders, a lingerie supply company that is known for their hand dyeing process. She is also founder of the Bra Sewing Bee. Please welcome Sue as she talks dollars and cents, why make your own lingerie.
Thank you so much, Heather. So it's so great to see everyone. I see you're coming from all over, and I did see in the chat that somebody's actually still awake in Perth, Australia. Now that is committed, I'll tell you that, because I think it's right in the middle of the night there, isn't it? So I'm so grateful that you've joined me and that everyone else has joined me. So what I'd like to do to begin with is I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so we can get into the slides. And then I'm also going to show you, in addition to the slides, from time to time, I'll turn on a camera so that you can see actual insides of ready-to-wear bras. So that's what we're doing here. So let's go ahead and get started. Hopefully, there it is. So the question is, can you make money or save money making your own bras? And the answer to that is very, very much yes. In addition to the fact that it costs a lot less, and we'll go into all of those details as we come along, I will say that our me-made materials are much higher quality. I have looked at all of these materials inside of all these bras, and every single one, the me-made materials are much higher quality. We do know that it doesn't take a lot of material to make a bra, nor does it take a lot of time to make a bra. But when you're making bazillions of bras, like a commercial manufacturer, every little bit makes a difference. And so we're going to take a look at that. There's a few ways you can proceed with making your own bras. You can purchase a kit, and you can also purchase materials. And if you purchase a kit, in general, that's kind of the convenience way of doing things. You'll have everything matched. It all works together. You have every little bit that you need. If you purchase materials and you get them all in white, then you can dye it yourself and use just exactly what you need. So let's take a look at the way a manufacturer thinks. And the manufacturers are people like Victoria's Secret or Bally or Warner's or whatever the different bra manufacturers are. And I actually used to work in manufacturing. And so I know kind of a little bit about the way a manufacturer thinks. I will tell you that labor is the most costly element of a product. And that is why a lot of people offshore their manufacturing, because they want a lower labor cost. And so the manufacturers are going to make decisions that drive the labor cost down. So they want the least amount of labor in the garment that they can get. And so, for example, you know how Victoria's Secret has made this big thing out of these foam cups? Well, I will tell you the reason that they did that wasn't because it was better for fit, and they didn't do it because it was necessarily prettier. They had great marketers that made you believe that it was prettier, but it was because then they didn't have to sew any intercup seams. And it was a lot cheaper to have the machine just punch out the foam cups and cover them with fabric rather than have sewers actually sew those seams. So seamed bra is generally better fitting and more supportive, but the foam cups take labor out of the business. You also want to drive your material costs as low as possible. And so I am actually going to show you what I found of like a super inexpensive bra. So we're going to go to the camera, take a look here at this nice, it's a Warner's bra that I bought at, I bought this at Walmart, and it was a very inexpensive bra. I think that it cost around $20, maybe not even that. And so let's take a look at the inside of it and what they did in order to minimize their costs. Well, the first thing that you see, this is not a huge cup, but first thing you see is that the hook and eye is just a little bitty 2-hook and eye. And so a 2-hook and eye that's this size, when you buy 50,000 of them, you're going to save money. Versus getting a 3-hook and eye, which will give you better support. The other thing it does is it lets you make your band a little bit smaller, and that saves you money. And then they have actually heat sealed that, because that, of course, saves you money when you heat seal it around the edge. It's a little bit less comfortable. I'm not a big fan of the heat sealed, but nonetheless, it'll save them money. So they minimize the size of this hook and eye. I'm going to have you look at this band. Where do you see elastic on that band? And where do you see sewing on that band? You see none of that. You see the top here is simply unfinished, right? So that's just fabric. It is completely unfinished. And so as you pull that, look at how much more that stretches. And so you've got nothing there. If you look back here at the back, there's some sewing right there where they put the strap on. This is all just heat seal. This is all just heat seal. So again, no labor on any of that. That's all done by machines. Then let's take a look at the cup. It's a molded foam cup. So again, a machine could do that. A person didn't have to. The way that it works is very interesting, because they actually, here's your foam cup here. They covered it with fabric, and then they heat sealed it onto the band. So again, no labor. They took their fabric, put it over, and heat sealed it. There's a little bit of stitching right here. If we look right here at the center gore, look at how little fabric they used, right? So this is just 2 pieces of webbing, and that's it. So, and it was sewn in along with the channeling. So there is sewing on the channeling, and here at the end of the channeling, there's sewing there. And then, of course, the other side is just exactly the same. Look at this. They even just silk screen. They're going to tell you, and honestly, this would probably be a little bit more comfortable, but one fewer step, right? This can be done by machine. They don't have to sew in a label. And so it's just part of the garment that way. So they don't need the cost of the label, and they don't need to sew the label in. It makes it cheaper. And so that's why they can take this bra right here, which looks cute. It's a nice, cute navy blue bra. And so, and there is this much labor in it. And I am guessing, let's take a look at this. It was made in Mexico. So this one was made in Mexico. And so that's what a manufacturer is going to do. Let's go back to the slides. Or actually, before we do that, I actually did bring out another navy blue bra. And we can take a look at this one. Okay, this is a me-made navy blue bra. It's got darling lace on it along the power bar as well as along the upper cup. You've got a cross cup seam. You've got channeling here. You've got fabric back here. You've got elastics. You've got elastics on the upper and lower band. You've got power net. Your strap goes all the way through the band to give it durability. And so this is just a better product. And you can see even at the top of the cup using a little bit of clear elastic, and that again is sewn. And so this is too expensive. I'll show you some simple sewn bras that come out of Italy and France, and I'll show you the price of those and how they're constructed. But this one here is better than those 2 bras, even still. So let's go back to those slides. Okay, so there it is with the kinds of things they do. They use narrower elastics, less dense fabrics. We'll talk about fabric quality as we go along. They use cheaper fabrics, and they have way less variation in their product line because they want to get the most possible use out of their fabrics and the least amount of variation. And so that's going to help them as a manufacturer save money and make more money. Okay, so if you are trying to maximize your material dollar in your me-made bras, these are the things that you're going to want to do. The first thing is find your favorite base fabric and just use your favorite base fabric. It's less fun, but it's cheaper. And then you purchase the best quality you can find, because I think even though you're trying to save money on your materials, you're not trying to cheapen your garment, right? A lot of the things that these manufacturers are doing cheapen the garment, and that's not what you want. Instead, you want to be wise and save money. So if you get great quality materials, I would suggest you buy nylon, because nylon is approachable from a dyeing perspective. If you use an acid dye, you can dye nylon. So, and buy them in white, and then you can get any color you want by dyeing it yourself. And then create like a little fabric block so that you know how much power net or how much cut fabric you need for your pattern, and then just dye that amount. And you're going to dye your own fabrics and elastics. And there are, every supplier, including suppliers of bra making materials, has a strategy, right? And they are trying to serve you the best way that they can. And so some strategies for some suppliers are that they go out and they try and find, like, they use what's called jobbers, and they try and find the end lots of things and stuff like that. So then they're kind of finding pieces of fabric that they can give to you in an inexpensive way. The thing that's tricky about that is that it's not as repeatable as someone who tries to get you the same fabric over and over and over again. So both of those are strategies. You can kind of see what people do and choose the one that works best for you. So here's what I did. Okay, I'm going to run some numbers. So the first thing I did is I had disassembled several bras to discover how they're made. So I got a high-end bra from France, and that is actually one that was my bra when I was younger and hipper and less round. Again, also a high-end bra from Italy. So that's one of my older bras. And a Victoria's Secret foam cut bra, a jockey foam cut bra, and a Bally seamed cut bra. And the only one that is actually like brand new was the Bally seamed cut bra. I went out and tried to find the biggest size I could get in, something that was manufactured in the same kind of way that we would actually sew a bra. And then what I did is I took a look at the overall chunk of fabric or length of elastic that you would need to duplicate that same technique in your me-made bra. And then I took a look at the fabrics and the elastics that they were using, and what are my best parallels to those. So in most cases, I didn't have an exact parallel, a lot because their quality of their fabrics was not very good. It was pretty low. And so I had to figure out what had a similar kind of performance characteristic, and that's what I did. I looked at the current purchase price of the bra, and then I also just did all the math, and I derived the current material cost for the equivalent garment. So that's how I did it, and we're going to start stepping into the details on, I think, the next slide. So this is probably a good time to get some questions if people have any about what I've talked about so far.
Perfect. So what is your opinion on the underarm wire fit of the first navy blue bra? The fabric holds in the flesh without the wire poking. Thoughts?
Well, that is true. I mean, you can probably, I think the thing I don't like about this bra, just from a technical standpoint, and I am not a technical expert. That's why we have lots and lots of people doing this. But what I am seeing is that I like the fact that it starts. We're going to take a look at the camera again. I like the fact that the wire is down here and then you've got fabric up here. I mean, I think that's a clever idea. But what I don't like is the fact that this fabric up here is not stabilized. And the way that this is attached is it's heat sealed, and it's not actually stitched. So there's a lot of force that works on a bra. And over time, you're gonna, this heat, and after a few washings, this heat seal will fail. So if I were to actually buy this bra, because I liked it and it was really comfy and stuff like that, since I'm a sewer, I would probably just reinforce this right here with stitching, because my guess is this is the first place this bra is going to fail. Other questions?
When you use the nylon fabric, is it the sheer cup lining that you would use?
Well, the sheer cup lining is the least expensive of all of the typical nicely supportive bra fabric. So as long as I was okay with a sheer cup, I would think sheer cup lining is great. It's easy to sew. It is, it's durable. It's soft. It's not as soft as, for example, micro duplex or some of the other fabrics, but it's soft. Bra tool, especially my bra tool, is softer. I know that not all bra tools are as soft as mine, but I know that the bra tool that we have is a little bit softer. And so that would probably be a little softer, but not as supportive. But those would be your least expensive options for cup fabric. But I am an opaque fabric girl, or an opaque bra girl, because a lot because of my age. When I was younger, I would do a sheer cup, but I had like giant nipples, and so I don't really like a sheer cup when I wear it under clothing. So that's just me.
Thank you. I think that's all the questions for now, so we can continue.
Okay. All righty. So here's the overall results. At the top line, I've got the list price of these different bras. And we're going to go from least expensive to most as we take a look at the inside. And then I have my derived me-made cost using all of the methodology that I talked about before, where I'm going to be super frugal, because if I'm going to be looking at this, probably I would want to be super frugal. And so I'm going to dye my own fabrics. I'm going to use, just the chunk that I need, and that sort of thing from a bigger piece. So that's how I'm going to go after getting that equivalent me-made price. So let's step into them. All right, here's our belly seamed cup bra. Let me find it. All righty, here it is. First, let's take a look at the fabrics. And I am hoping that I can somehow get, because I need to see everything, and we'll see if it works. Okay, so here we go. Is that this the fabrics, this is a tricot on the outside. And if we look on the inside, it's actually lined with sheer cup lining. Of all the bras, this is the one that is the best for a large cup. It's the only one that I think would probably work for a large cup, honestly. And so, or at least work well. So this is sheer cup lining. And then this is tricot, but it is quite a cheap tricot, right? It's not as nice, for example, as the tricot that you would find at Bra Builders. And I don't know about the quality of other people's tricot. You can see that they used tricot from just on the center frame, and then they used power net along the back band. And this is actually a stabilized power net. It's not as beefy as our stabilized firm power net, but I went ahead and called that our equivalent. If you look at the inside, there's boning here, right? So they've got the casing going all the way up to about there, and then they put boning on it. Here's the channeling. You can see that the channeling is like a taffeta type channeling and an underwire. They have, I found this one kind of interesting because if you look here at the decorative part of the cup, this is just sheer cup lining, right? And then this is like a little decorative edge that they created with the sewing machine. And this is just some machine embroidery that they put on with the sewing machine and then cut off. So I thought that was a really interesting way of doing that. It's a way to give it a little bit of personality without adding a lot of cost. When you look at the strap is actually pretty wide, and it is a non-stretch webbing with a little bit undersized ring there. You can see the way that it's put together here, where you have both layers of the tricot and the sheer cup lining, and there's actually even 2 layers of sheer cup lining there. So that's the kind of back into the cup. 5 hook and eye. See, I told you that of all of them, this one was the one that I thought was pretty well done. It is heat sealed more than it is, it's heat sealed more than it is sewn, but it might be sewn. It's not super scratchy. It actually has elastic back here, which is not common. But this is what I found really fascinating, is that they're minimizing their labor, remember? And so what they did is they sewed their elastic on. They didn't cut it. They just turned the corner on the elastic and sewed the underarm seam. So I thought that was interesting. And then they've got a pretty nice wide lower band. So there is that. Here it is where it's not ripped apart, is on this side, and you can see how that is. And so where I think that, and so in this, by the way, I found this also very interesting, is that you see notches here on the, I don't know if you can see them, but there you go. You've got notches. You know what notches mean? An actual person sewed this bra and not a machine. That was cool. So, well, they used a machine to sew it, but it had to be sewn by a person rather than just automatically pressed. So I'm going to stop that share, go back into it and take a, oops, sorry. I need to get back into my slides. There we go. Okay, this was manufactured in El Salvador. There's the 2 layers of the fabric in the cup. They're sewn together as one. Now, interestingly, like oftentimes when you do a me-made, you're enclosing your seams. And in this case, they don't enclose the seams. It's probably faster and cheaper. They might have saved like 1.5 minutes of manufacturing, but that makes a difference to them. And then if we take a look at the elastics on this bra, if I can get there it is. This is the cost of the elastics. And this, by the way, is 100% full retail cost. The elastic is definitely not as strong and nice as the elastic I know that you can get at Bra Builders, and I would guess, it's similar to me. I'm not sure about other people. We'll have to, but if we wanted to make this with much better materials, because our tricot would be a better quality, our power net would be a better quality, then it would cost us $18.41 to make this bra. Do you have any questions on the belly bra?
There is a question here about prices, the price slide. So how much on average would the me-made prices rise if one purchased pre-dyed materials?
In general, I would say pre-dyed materials, you're buying a chunk of fabric and you might buy too much fabric. So if you got the pre-dyed materials, you might end up with a little bit too much. But to buy a kit for at Bra Builders, is average sheer cup lining kit would be about $33. But then you would have a lot of extra fabric, and then you would build a second bra out of that fabric, and then it would be reduced by half. Does that make sense? And you would still probably have fabric left over. So that's the best way I can answer that. Does that make sense?
Totally makes sense. The next question was actually regarding the kit fabric, and you answered it. So, yay, Sue. Regarding dye the fabric, what kind of dye can we use? Do you have a recommended video how to do it?
Well, there is a whole class and a question and answer, two question and answer sessions in the vault. So in, I think it was our second year was where we did the dye class. And then the third year we had the question and answer session. So that's in the vault. And as far as it's not tricky. Doing it in a production type way is tricky. But just dyeing your own is not that tricky. You can use any acid dye. And so probably the simplest thing, at least for the people in the USA, is to use RIT dye. And like their Dymore dye will work just fine. Actually, all of their dyes work fine. Most of their dyes are multi-fabric dyes. And so they will do like cottons as well as nylons and other kinds of things. They will not work on polyester. And so if you have polyester fabric, then you're going to end up with something with a very light tinge of color, but it's not really going to dye.
Thank you. Would there be a time and place to use a smaller hook and eye?
I would say that you can use a smaller hook and eye if you don't have a lot of breast volume to support. You can use a smaller hook and eye if you need it for a physiological reason. For example, I know of a gal who has some shingles and stuff on her back. And so in that case, she wants a very small hook and eye to make sure that it interferes with that as little as possible. Although in some cases you can actually do your larger hook and eye, but bring it down instead of up. So it'd be kind of like a long line effect, but with a lower back. So that would work. And I think honestly, if you have a really nice self-supporting breast without a ton of volume, and you like the look of a small hook and eye because you think it's delicate and pretty, then you should do that. But do know that you've been trained into thinking 2 hook and eye is right. The marketers have trained you so that you think that that's just the right thing.
Thank you. What would you say your labor price is to make a bra?
Well, I don't make bras. I make fabric. I don't make fabric, but I source fabric and put it together into kits or other things. And I do a lot of dyeing of fabric, but I don't make bras. I do know that for most people, after you've made 1 or 2, you can get a bra made in about a half a day.
Fantastic. Colleen would like to make the Bali bra. What pattern and fabric would you suggest to replicate this bra?
Oh, let's see here. Let me look at it. I would say that that's not too far off of like a Willowdale. It's not a super projected cup. The Willowdale has a lower center cup seam and also a power bar. So both of those are going to add more support and bring your breast tissue forward. And so I would say that a Willowdale would work well as a duplicate bra pattern. But there's lots of wonderful bra patterns out there. So that's one that you could use.
Fantastic. And then we have a question about where in the bra you would use the nylon fabric.
Everywhere. So what you're looking at is the filament or the thread that's used to make the fabric, to weave the fabric or to knit the fabric. You want that to be nylon. instead of polyester or cotton or some other fiber. So you can have like the micro duplex that we have is nylon, but so is the power net that we have is nylon, and the sheer cup lining that we have is nylon, and all the elastics are nylon. So that's the main fiber that the product is manufactured out of.
Perfect. Thank you. We have no further questions.
Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the next one, which is a Victoria's Secret bra. So if we take a look at this, it's list priced for $49.95, I believe. And I'm going to go over to my materials cam. Here we go. This is the one that I was the most interested to see how it was made because it really does dominate the market. And so here we have it. This is the cup. And they had a little piece of stretch lace along the top. You can see though, just in my disassembling it, I didn't pull it or anything. And you can see it's already stretching out. It's not a super great quality stretch lace, but it's okay, it's good. And then you've got your foam cup here, real labor savings. And you can see that it's the exact same on both sides. So that says that you can flip it inside and outside and it'll be just the exact same. Here is the fabric that covers the cup. And I tell you, I would not buy this fabric. If it was, and I did once have Victoria's Secret fabric offered to me to buy. It was like an end lock kind of a thing. And one, I do prefer to have things that you can get over and over again. But I said, oh, that could be great. And it was such a junky fabric that I really didn't want it. It's quite thin. And it's not really super very nice. There's a little bit of a brushed feeling to it there. So that's your fabric. It has a little bit of give. It's not stretchy. I don't think there's any Lycra in there at all. And so there it is covering your cup. One of the things that I found interesting, it's not just on this cup, but also on the other foam cup bra I ripped apart, is that they actually use a band of sheer cup lining here at the very, very bottom of the cup when they put it into the wire line. And so I found that interesting. I'm like, especially since it happened on both of those foam cup bras. I thought that was fascinating. You can see a lot more stitching in this product than you saw stitching in that blue bra, right? You saw almost no stitching at all in the blue bra, and there is definitely stitching here. This, I didn't take it apart, but this would be stitched here and then flipped. So this is stitched, it's not heat sealed. And then here's your strap. This is like a webbing kind of a strap in there. And that's just serged along the edge. Then if we go to the band, which is here, right? I took this one pretty far apart. Well, you can see that they have tags. So that means that all those had to be bought and all of that had to be sewn in. The hook and eye is sewn in, it's zigzagged here. There's a little bit of foam back there on that hook and eye, which I found interesting. The band is made of a slightly stretchier version, maybe, of the cup one. It's hard to tell without ripping it all the way apart. But then if we look at, so you see no elastics here. The elastics are all enclosed on the inside. So if we look at the elastics here, once again, this is not elastic that I would carry. It's very thin. It's not really very nice. It's like kind of cheap and kind of thin. And it's zigzagged onto there. And it's zigzagged onto there. And you can see that they varied just the place that the different fabrics were sewn in. So you could cut the same fabric, but put one inside the other, and that's how that fabric rolls, so that you have the pretty look on the outside and it doesn't show up on the inside, or so that your seam allowance is pulled onto the inside of the bra. So that is how this Victoria's Secret bra was made. Here's a channeling, by the way, and it's, you know, similar to the channeling that I use and that I carry. So there's that, and it's got a flex wire in there because I changed it. Let's go ahead and go and take a look at this, not visually, but on the table. Back to our slides. And so the big price for someone who wants to make this bra is really in that foam cup. And in both of the products where you had the foam cup is the single most expensive part of the entire bra to a me-made sewer, versus someone who is a manufacturer. That's going to be cheap, especially when you put the labor into it. They're made in Sri Lanka, India, Vietnam, and China. I did look that up. This one in particular is made in India. So those are the places, and this one was made in India. The foam cup is color coordinated. There's the sheer cup lining, and there's no power net in this bra. It's only the Lycra and some elastic, which is not the elastic that I would probably want to use. And then here are the kind of the findings. There's that webbing that is underneath the strap, some non-pico elastic. And again, like I said, that's not my 1/2-inch non-pico is going to be a better quality elastic than the ones that they're going to be using here. There's that little bit of stretch lace to decorate the top of the cup, the channeling. They do have a 3-hook and eye on that one. So because this was a 38D, I think, some rings and slides and a pair of underwires. So this one is $14.32, and you would be making it out of a much better quality materials than you would on this. Any questions on our wonderful Victoria's Secret?
There are a few here. So is the duoplex considered nylon, or is it?
Yes, duoplex is nylon, yes. Or micro duoplex is nylon. Duoplex is polyester. So duoplex is carried by other other bra supplies companies. So Bra Builders carries the micro duoplex, which I think is softer. Someone said it's like petting a basket of kittens, and it kind of is. And it also dyes absolutely beautifully.
Yeah, your micro duplex is amazing. It's so soft.
It is so soft.
How are they getting the shape on the foam cups? This is different than cut and sew foam that we use in a me-made. How would you replicate that?
You have to buy the foam cup. That's why it's so expensive. So I have to buy it, and they charge more for someone who's going to buy, like, you're going to buy one foam cup. I'm going to buy 50 sets of foam cups. And the manufacturers will buy, 50,000 sets of foam cups. And so we're going to pay more, but it's the exact same product. And it is done in a machine. So they have I've actually seen this before, but it is, there's a giant kind of a pressing machine, and it has a plastic molded form that has the shape that you want in there. And the machine takes the foam and heat presses it into this shape. And then that's how the foam cup is made. And the foam is made usually with laminating with glue. So you take a piece of polyester, you laminate with glue onto a piece of foam, and then you laminate the other side with glue with another, the foam on the other side with another piece of polyester, and that's what they all are.
That's fascinating. Do you have a source for me-made tags?
I don't, I'm so sorry. I looked into that when I was doing more of my own stuff, like sewing for myself and my daughter, because I wanted that for the garments that I made for her. Um, so it looks like Marlene says that, or Charlene says the Dutch Label Company does that.
I know you can also get some on Etsy.
Yes.
What is ML Air? So micro.
So that's Micro Lycra Air, and it is our, and it's a Lycra product, so it stretches, and it is really, it's about the same thickness as the fabric that I am using, or that I saw here in the Victoria's Secret, and it has enough stretch so that you could use it on the band without any problem. And it's nice and light, and it would probably cover that foam cup nicely. So that's the fabric that I chose as the equivalent fabric. But I will tell you that the fabric that's on that bra got very pilly, and the Micro Lycra Air would not do that.
Is there more stretch for the Micro Lycra Air versus just Micro Lycra?
Yes, the Micro Lycra Air is stretchier. So that's why you want to make sure you have those elastics in your band, or else it won't do enough of the job that it needs to be done. So if you're going to make a foam cup bra, and honestly, this is something I'm thinking of for 2024, 2025, kind of those molded, do something with molded foam cups that I hope will be actually more functional, but give people that look that we've all been trained to like so well.
I love that idea. I think nylon fabrics are comfortable and polyester feels icky. Why do you think that is? Is it breathability?
They're different fibers, certainly, and I think that the polyester or the nylon thread is just more supple than the polyester thread. So it was really interesting to me. I had during COVID, I contacted my supplier for micro duplex, and I said, I need some more. And she said, because this is the manufacturer, and she says, we can't get thread. And I'm like, oh, I guess you would. Or she said, we can't get yarn. And I'm like, I guess you would be using yarn in order to actually make the fabric. And so I think it's the difference in the actual yarn itself. Any other questions?
That's it for now.
Okay, let's move on to the next one, which is a jockey bra. And this one is not as old as the other ones, but it's a little bit on the older side. And it's a kind of a hybrid. So let's go ahead and go into our materials cam and take a look at it. And so here's our jockey bra. You can see that I took this apart. And in this case, instead of the outer fabric, which is once again very thin and not very nice, right? But at least it didn't pill, so that's kind of nice. So that goes over our foam cup and is attached with tape, heat tape. And then even the edge, which is like, this is your upper band, and even that is done with heat tape. And this is indeed the place where the bra failed first. And you can see here, this is back way before Bra Builders. And you can see that I had to stitch it here where the heat seal failed. And so that's the first place that it will fail, is in the heat sealing. But they have much better products, or much better ways to apply this than we do at home. At home, I really actually do like the fusible elastic stuff, particularly for panties, because it gives you a real true no-show look. that I like a lot, and it doesn't bind in any way. It doesn't give me a muffin top, but I always zigzag over my fusible elastic just to increase its life, because on any garment, it will be the first thing to go. Here we are down at the bottom of that foam cup, and ta-da, there we have it again, a piece of sheer cup lining. And you can see that the cup is covered with this lightweight fabric. The upper band is fold over elastic, and it goes all the way over the strap. The strap has a little bit of foam in it. And you can see also that that is heat sealed on the foam. And then there's some stitching done here. There was stitching done for the ring and slide. And so there's our cup. If we look at the band, looks like I kept it attached, because here's our frame, by the way. That's probably worthwhile looking at. And you can see this is sheer cup lining here. And then this is your, I don't want to call it worthless, but your kind of inexpensive outer fabric there. And then you've got the sheer cup lining here. And inside of there, you've got that elastic. It's not a very nice elastic, but it's in there. And again, it's non-picot. This must be a way to save a lot of money, because it is used reliably. And then on the upper band, they're using that heat sealed fold over elastic. So there's that. And that's what that one looks like on the inside. By the way, I had the best time doing this. Oh, they have a very weird underwire where it's got a flat spot here, and it's a plastic underwear, very, very rigid. And their channeling is basically jersey. So that was interesting, stretchy. And so if we take a look, let's go ahead back to our slides and take a look at the materials that I figured out. So we have a tricot-like fabric on the cup. It's not as nice as the tricot, but it is a tricot-like because it doesn't really stretch. There is that foam cup in there, a little tiny bit of sheer cup at the bottom of the band, or I mean at the bottom of the cup. The air is what you will find on the strap and also on the band and the frame. So you'll see that there. A little bit of sheer cup on the band, and then the cut and sew on the strap. The sizing system is a little different on Jockey, where they have you choose your band and then you choose your cup separately. And they'll show how this band and that cup go together, and they carry it that way. It is made in China, and there is no power net in it. And then this one will cost $18.45 to make. You've got a little bit of strap elastic, some non-picot elastic along the band, the fold over elastic with all of but I would have you sew it instead of fuse it. I like fusing it into underwear, but I wouldn't want to fuse it into a bra, mainly because I feel like the angles and stuff are just a little bit, you don't get anything by fusing it, honestly. So I wouldn't do it. Some channeling. This one has a 2-hook and eye, some rings and slides and underwires. So the total cost to make this one is $18.45. Any questions on the Jockey bra?
There was just a question about if Bra Builder sells dyeable fabric elastics for the home sewist.
Oh, absolutely. Every single thing that we carry, unless we tell you it's not, like the swim elastic's not dyeable because it's rubber. But almost all of our fabrics are dyeable, and we have a large assortment of dye to match laces as well, both wide laces and narrow laces.
And what would you say the sheer cup lining at the wire line is used for?
I am guessing that's used to stabilize it. It's either used in the manufacturing process so that it makes it easier to sew, or it might stabilize the bottom of that cup a little bit. I actually am going to investigate that a little bit over the next year or so.
Fantastic. Thank you. We have no further questions at this point.
So the next one are these fancy schmancy bras. And this bra, I think, is $192 retail. And I have two versions of it. It is a premium French brand, and it's lace over sheer cup. So let's take a look at it. So I have a red one and I have a green one. They are really very, very similar to one another. There's a little bit of a difference in the bridge here, where you've got a little bit of an opening in the bridge here. And then here's the red one is the one that I did all the measuring on. You can see it's got a little bit of it's a 2-layer bra tulle power band over on the side. And then right in here, you've got a single layer of bra tulle on the inside. And then you've got your lace cup. And I actually brought out a similar me-made bra. I think this kit went for about $30 instead of this one, which is 190 something, and you could have gotten 2 of them out of this kit. And so you can see it's got a lot of similarities on it, except that you've got power nets on it and you've got nice white elastics. So it's a higher quality bra overall, but you can see that they put the lace all the way over the band, because if you look at this one, you'll see that the lace is all the way over the band, has a little 2-hook and eye, and that is heat sealed. It's not sewn. They're using the galloon edge here, making it cute. And then you've got a very narrow elastic here. It would be equivalent to our 3/8. And you can see this is something you can do on your me-mades. This is a picot elastic there. Can you see it? On the top. You can see the little picots. So they didn't want those picots to peek out the top. So they just flipped it over and put the picots at the bottom. And then they had a smooth edge at the top. And you can do that with your elastics on your me-made garments as well. And then here we've got the band, and look at that. The band has nothing besides that lace. There is nothing there. So the thing that's holding the cup in place and against your breast is these 2 pieces of elastic is all. And here's the strap, goes here. And the heat sealed 2-hook and eye. And then the frame, we can take a look at the frame. And the frame is sheer cup lining versus this is bra tulle. This is a smaller one. And then here's just a little tiny bit of elastic here at the top of the cup. So I priced in my 1/4-inch non-picot for that. But I will tell you that for those of you who watched the class from Cleo, I think this is very much like the elastic she was talking about, and I will be getting that elastic in. And so that's this bra. So this bra, which is our second most expensive bra at $192, has a lot of similarities to a me-made bra, but a me-made bra has a lot more structure to it. It's going to give you a lot more life than this one here will. So let's go ahead and go back to the slides so we can see the numbers. Oh, we're almost out of time. And so you can see that we've got the fabrics and then also the elastics. And so this bra that costs $192 is $13.23. But this is made in Lyon, France, which means that they did not offshore their manufacturing and their labor cost will be higher. And so that is interesting to me, is that you can see the difference that the labor cost makes. And also the fact that this is a little bit more of a specialized garment. It's not like super full of foam and automated processes. So there's more design to it. And then finally, because we're almost out of time, so I'm going to just zip through this one. This is our most expensive of all the bras. It's called Ritratti. It's an Italian brand. And let's take a look at it up close and personal. And this is the one that might be slightly more difficult to me make because of the materials. So it actually has a tulle lace here over what it looks for the most part like spacer foam. So the tulle lace though, which you can get all over the place, but it has a companion lace that they ran up the sleeve, and I think that, or the strap, and I think that's really cute. Now you can use just a regular, you can use your lace and run it up your strap. We were shown how to do that yesterday by Cleo, and so that's really doable. But doing it exactly like this is slightly trickier because you have to have something that is like that. And then also their band, they actually have a band. And it's this really pretty knit and kind of a jacquard pattern. It's very nice. You can kind of see that. And so that's kind of specialized also. But if we look at the structure on it, it's got that fabric in it, which isn't really a powerful fabric. It's not as good as a power net, but it does have elastics, like the picot elastics, where the picots are facing up and not down. It's got a heat sealed 2-hook and eye. And the channeling, some more upper band elastic, which goes up the strap. And then a little bit of strap elastic here that goes through the band, as you can see right there. So here's this one, and it is, this one was $254 list price right now, today. I bought it a few years ago, like 25. And so it wasn't that much at that time, but even then it was quite an expensive bra. It was back before I got married and I had no kids and I was making a good wage. So that's what you do sometimes when you have that. Now I would have to make it because I wouldn't pay that kind of money. And then it's sheer cup lining back here. And you've got that same pretty jacquard fabric right there. It's a knit jacquard. So we'll go ahead and go back to our slides. And so this one is made in Milan. They did not offshore their manufacturing. I do really like that jacquard knit band, and I might be able to get something like that, but it wouldn't be dyeable, which is trickier because that means that you have much less flexibility on that. And then here are the findings. The last two bras that I showed you are the most equivalent to Me Made bras. And you can see that they are definitely very expensive to buy, and they are very inexpensive to make. Because this one, it's only $16.49, and that's mainly because the inside of the cup has that little bit of spacer foam. So that's the big difference on that. And I think that's the end of my slides. So I'm going to go ahead and stop my share so that you can see my little face and see if there are any questions.
There is one that popped in here. Where in the bra is the new fabric Tech Sheen going to be used? Is Tech Sheen dyeable?
TechSheen is dyeable, and it is one of the choices you can use for your band. And so I think that it's going to be a more elegant looking band than a PowerNet band. And it'll work very nicely in that way. It has a little bit more oomph than regular PowerNet and not as much oomph as firm PowerNet. So it's kind of in between those two. And it's lovely. You can also use it for shapewear garments. It's going to be a great shapewear fabric. So if you want to make like a cami or a pair of shaping shorts or something like that, shaping cami, shaping shorts, it will give you a really beautiful look. You can get in all the colors and put lace on it and all that, and have that as a beautiful shaping garment.
Fantastic. How well did the ready-to-wear bras fit as compared to your current fit?
Well, me-made fits work way better for fit if you once you get your fit down, right? So even the first me-made bra I made was better than my the thing I noticed the most when I went from like a Victoria's type secret type bra to a me-made bra is that my clothing fits so much better, because it just fits so much better in the chest. It was a more natural look on the breast shape. And I know there are gals actually, and I'm going to stand here and say, let's go ahead and get natural looking breasts back in the world instead of these little round globes. And let's make a case for that. But I had a much more natural looking breast and my clothing fit so much better, and it was more comfortable and it fit better too. I didn't have kind of the gapping at the top and that sort of thing that you get with a foam cup.
The last two bras, are they like the Black Beauty bra, or how would you replicate?
Yeah, I would use a Black Beauty bra for both of these. And the black one doesn't use the power bar kind of thing, and the red one does, but that power bar thing is on the inside and not the outside. But both of those the Black Beauty would work great to do both of those. And then if you go back and take a look at Cleo's presentation, you will see that she gave a whole bunch of different pattern recommendations for some of these really pretty little bras.
And someone's asking what the beautiful bra is behind you on the dress form.
This is Affy Atelier. And I think that this is one that someone sewed for me actually. And that was a kit of the month. It was an April kit of the month. It's called Singing in the Rain. And it has a little raindrop Swarovski crystal dangle pendant. And I can't remember what, I do know that was the maker of the pattern, but I don't remember the model. So.
Perfect. It's beautiful. Suggestions for economical fabric to use while fit testing patterns.
Sheer cup lining. That's what I'm always going to recommend is sheer cup lining. It doesn't matter what it looks like. It's inexpensive. It's easy to sew. It's stable. You can use that as the underneath layer of just about any other fabric you want to use. If you use a stable fabric and a stretch fabric together, you want to always cut your stretch fabric smaller than your stable fabric, or else you will have bagging and wrinkling and stuff like that. And by the way, that's the same for lace as it is with fabrics. So cut your stretch lace a little bit bigger. What I like to do, especially if I have a PDF pattern, is I print the PDF pattern a second time at 96%. And that seems to be exactly perfect.
That's a fantastic tip I didn't know about. Fabulous. There are no further questions. If anybody else has anything else to ask, please pop it in the Q&A. Otherwise, thank you very much, Sue. This was such a fantastic class.
Thank you very much. I was so excited about this class. I have to say, it was very fun to rip all these things apart and see how they're actually made. I've been wanting to do that for so long.
I'm so glad you did, because I learned so much. It's amazing to see what happens inside the ready to wear bras. So cool.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you very much. And come on, let's reclaim the natural breast, eh?
I love it. Let's do that. Thank you so much, Sue, and thank you to everyone for being here. This was such a fantastic class. I hope you have a wonderful day.
Thank you all.
Bye.
Bye.